Hey,
Hello.
Hello.
how are you guys?
Guys,
Are we surviving?
Yeah, and you?
Sure.
we're here. Oh God, my dog's gonna bark for a minute now. They hear you. Hey, go lay down. Oh, happy holidays, everybody.
It's you too?
Thank you. Quiet. I have a mama and her little boy. They're toy poodles.
Oh,
With anxiety problems, one of them. Really? I mean, come on now. It's my luck.
we all need our mission.
Oh, please, I've got plenty. Mm.
Yeah.
So no Christmas cheer drink this year, huh?
No,
Well,
you
that's
can't
a
go to a
bummer.
bar. You can't go to a bar.
Can't get spirits.
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
Well, actually, Mike, you could invite us to your house.
yeah. I have no beer here.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, not tonight. We'll wear masks. Yeah, it's been a crazy year, huh?
Oh yeah,
It's
Hmm.
very depressing.
it's strange.
Yeah,
But at least the vaccine's coming.
right.
Yep.
Oh, they got to fight about that too, don't they?
Hopefully they'll get their act together.
Yeah. Well, people are saying they won't take it. Some of them. It's like, oh, please.
Yeah, there's people that don't vaccinate their kids. They're not going to vaccinate themselves.
That's right. That's right.
Unless there's some sort of requirement in terms of getting on an airplane, getting into a hotel,
Right.
certain. So, I mean,
I
that
don't
would be
I don't
the
think-
direct to go.
I don't think they can. I don't think they can do that.
I
You
think
don't-
they can.
You don't have
private-
to have one. You don't have to have one to go to school.
I think they do now, though. I thought
No, you got religious freedom.
they didn't fight that. Oh. Well, that's public. I don't know, like
Okay.
airlines and stuff.
Yeah, there's our boss
I don't see them.
on the
Go
bottom.
on.
I only see Paul's.
Morning,
at my
Doc.
box. I've never done this before, so
I was there. I don't know where he went.
Oh, he's down there.
oh yeah, I only get like a few people at a time.
I haven't.
Well, there's not that many of us, so.
Yeah, I gotta figure out how to do this.
Hi, Pat.
How's everybody doing?
We're good, and you?
Good.
Good.
We
Good.
already finished the
Yeah.
We finished the meeting, Pat.
Pardon me?
We already did it.
Okay. All right.
I tried.
All right. So do we have everybody here?
Steve's not here, is
I think
he?
we're just waiting on John right now. And
And what
Steve?
about, and Steve?
John and
Yes,
Steve.
Steve's not here.
Okay, then we aren't going to begin.
Oops, I just lost all of you. Oh, there we go.
Oh, John. John's not here.
Yeah, just John and Steve. Huh, I'm on time. Found a way to get me here on time.
Well, while we're waiting, should I introduce myself?
Sure.
Sure. It won't be official, but you can do it.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
what's going
on
on?
your agenda. And I'm Signia McGarry.
Hi, Signian. I'm Karen.
Hello, Karen. Nice to meet you.
You too.
And you are 4A and 4B on our
Yeah.
agenda. Right.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. And I think I've got a little bit of material, perhaps vis-a-vis an email, about the program I'm talking about, the Conservation Training Partnership. Did you get
You know, I think we should wait till the meeting starts. Otherwise, some people are going to miss out on things. Right, Mike?
Right, sounds good to me.
Or you have to repeat yourself, yeah.
Hey, Steve, how are you?
Good. How are we
John's
doing,
joining right
folks?
now.
There's Steve. There's John.
What's up, folks?
Hey,
Hello, John?
Done.
Okay,
How are you?
all right. So I think everybody's here that's going to be here,
Okay,
right?
different view, okay. Yes,
You know what now? Okay, well, we lost Mark. Huh, there he is. Okay. Mark's back. Does anybody know, is Peter going to be on tonight or not?
He never commented today, so I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Well, so let's start with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
America.
and to
to
the
the
republic for which it stands, one
and
nation,
one
under
nation,
God,
Indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and
and
justice.
justice
For all.
Oh.
indivisible.
Wow. That wasn't too good.
Karen, you made it.
I know, I
Okay.
was on time too.
Awesome.
So I don't think we have any public comment tonight, do we? No. Okay. Elizabeth, do you want to say anything?
I don't have anything. I'm just here to make sure this all goes
I know.
off
Well, you're
relatively
public.
smoothly.
You're public. Okay. So I guess we'll let Signan McGarry take the floor right now. That's a Suburban Garden Club speaker. So why don't you go ahead and begin?
All right, well, thank you for having me, and
Thank you for coming.
I am a team member of the Conservation Training Partnership. That is a program funded by the National Science Foundation, but carried out through the University of Connecticut and their subdivision of the Natural Resources Conservation Academy. And when I first learned about this program, I was pretty excited because it matches up teens with adults. And as president of my garden club, one of our deficits, I think, is that we don't do a lot of work reaching out to engage teenagers. And so I thought this would be a perfect opportunity for me. And once you attend this training partnership program, you get certified to continue on providing educational opportunities and conservation programs for teens in your community. So we have 3 adults and 3 teenagers. The 2 other adults, one is, she is the president of the Southington Garden Club. And then Tom Lewick, who is he's an educator through the Cheshire High School, and he's in charge of technology from K through 12. So he's pretty adept at some of the tools that I'm not as adept with. But anyway, I am also an emeritus professor from Quinnipiac. And so I'm bringing in my experience in education to this project. So bottom line, the 6 of us have gone through a training 2-day workshop. And we were then expected to come up with a proposal, a program, something that we were going to do that looked at environmental issues and would be a resource for the community. And we decided as a team that we wanted to make the linear trail a specific segment of that trail to have additional sort of educational opportunities. And we've picked the section from Cornwall to Jarvis. We've picked 3 sites in particular. One is that Willow Brook Bridge area. The second is the area where there's an out pocket of a sort of a oh, it's on the water and there are benches and people get to kind of get a different view of the waterway. And then the pollinator garden is our third site that we are focusing in on. We're trying to reinforce the idea of people getting outside. We're trying to nurture curiosity about the environment and then educate as to the ecosystems, both the micro interconnectedness in terms of what's going underneath the ground, but also looking at the native species in the area and then the invasives as well. What we've done so far is used a wonderful tool that UConn has allowed us to use. It's a camera that allows us to shoot 360 film footage of the areas. And we plan to do a 4-part, fall, winter, spring, summer segment. So this is going to be an ongoing project. I would say it's going to last at least 3 years. The high school students, the 3 seniors, are just fantastic. And the school system is giving them credit for participating in this program, which I think is pretty exciting. So why am I here talking your ear off? We want to have some modest signage on the trail section that I've just mentioned before we got too involved with deciding exactly what we're going to do, how much it would cost, fundraising, that sort of thing. Thought it'd be a good idea to get permission from the town. And right now, what we're talking about is having 3 signs, no more than 3. All 3 will have the QR codes. So people will be able to take their iPhones, take a picture of the QR code, and then have a wealth of information open up to them. We're working on a story map. The story map is going to connect people with, one, the film footage that we've provided, bibliography, art activities, so on and so forth. But just a wealth of information. Obviously, probably links to DEP because they've got some wonderful resources available to the community as well. So basically, I am here to seek authorization for the signage project.
I think it's probably a good first stop, but I think the town council would have to approve it. Is that right, John?
I would say so. Signian, how far off the trail are these going to be located?
Well, I shouldn't think too far off. Obviously we wouldn't want to create a hazard in terms of too many people clustered around a sign,
That's what I was getting at because of the amount of activity that we have, and then that whole bikers versus walkers and joggers, and who's coming through fast and doesn't signal that they're coming through, and before you know, we got a catastrophe.
Right. So I'm assuming that, well, for one area where that the pollinator garden is, that would definitely be off the main drag. Where the outcropping is, I would imagine perhaps it could even be on, if it was just a QR code right on that outpocketing, where people would have to walk into that area. The only other question I would be wondering about is the bridge area, the Willow Bridge. We have to look at that and decide what would be the most advantageous spot for that at that location. But
do you have a facsimile of like the size or how big of what the sign might be?
no,
Because that's kind of hard to approve something in theory, not knowing what the final proof of something may be. I mean, it sounds wonderful and sounds great, and I'd love to jump and support it, but I don't want to support something and before you know it, we have a billboard like we talked about. We don't, I mean, how much sign
Well-
white noise do we want on the trail kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, the museum, you're talking like maybe a museum sign. When you're going through a museum, they'll have posted signs about something simple like that.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I would not expect it to be, a billboard size.
Right.
Right. We want to do a little bit more of a survey about what other communities have done. We have not investigated what other towns or other trails and that sort of thing have done. But I shouldn't think it would be any more than like 6 inches in length and width, maybe no more than a foot, if that. That's what I envision.
So
But
who would put these in and who would maintain them?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay, well, that's something that we definitely
Yeah.
need to get an answer for, right, Mark?
Do you have a designer already? Do you have a designer and an artist or any
Nope.
idea? Yeah, we
Nope.
should just see some mock-ups and go
Well,
from there.
And we're happy to do that, but it almost seemed like, is it feasible? I wanted to feel like there was some hope that we would be successful before all this energy and effort was put into it.
Mhm. I think it's a wonderful idea. So
Pat, do you want to make some kind of a motion or someone make a motion to approve it conditionally?
I'll make a motion to accept this project signage after we see some samples.
Oh, good.
I mean, Mark, is there anything that we need to be concerned about or should we be aware of or you okay with it?
Someone needs to second it. I put the first motion in already, John.
No, I think, if it's not a big sign, I don't see an issue with it.
Okay.
Keep it out of the wetlands, keep it out of the travel lane.
Mhm, mhm. Okay.
All right, I'll second it for discussion.
Why is my picture?
Signian, are you just talking that the signs are only going to be the QR code, or is there going to be other information on it?
Well, that's a good question. In talking with my group, initially, I was thinking, well, maybe that would be more convenient just to have the QR. But we're feeling that we'd like to have at least one sign that had more than just a QR code. If it only served to be an inspiration and referring to maybe some of the biggies in the environmental community, all of that is not firmed up at this point.
What I would like to see is if the sign can match the style that are currently on the trail. Those are the history of the trail as you go along, where you have the trestle tracks and et cetera. And obviously no bigger than those, I would think. I don't know what everyone else thinks. So I think you would need some type of information as far as what the QR code is going to show you.
Yeah. What's interesting is I reached out to the Cheshire Arts Place to see if Joanne would be willing to act as a consultant for any of these art projects we wanted to have. And then she told me about a program that some folks are working on, some sort of puzzle that they're trying to make that's going to be on the trail, that's going to represent the history of the canal and the community involvement and so on and so forth. I'm not sure, but there was some discussion that maybe our work could be linked up with theirs, and that would be another educational piece to the puzzle, so to speak. Have you all heard about that project?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that idea too.
We don't want the trail to look like the Las Vegas Strip though, with all the things that are.
Yeah, I would agree. I would
Yeah,
agree.
on the signs, who pays for the signs? Do they come through your grant?
Yes, and I believe that I know my garden club would be willing to help sponsor that as well. So
Because we're not going to have any other business names on there.
I'm
No.
sorry. Go ahead.
I just check to make sure there's no business names or anything else on these signs. Okay.
No.
I mean, I
Nope.
think it's an interesting concept. I think it sounds like everybody's interested, but I think we need to see more. We have to get a better idea of what
Mhm,
we're looking at.
mhm. And I think that's only appropriate.
So I don't know if that's going to happen.
Leanne, does that give you
Do
enough
and
to-
you're welcome to come to our next month's meeting too.
That would be terrific. So that if I come next month and have a mock-up and more definitive concept, that might, that would be helpful, I think.
Was
Yeah.
this done on other parts of the trails in other towns?
Not that I know of,
Okay.
but that behooves me to look into that a bit more.
Yeah, so you might have a picture and see what their signs look like and we can get an idea better if
Yep.
we saw that.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
I'm happy to do that.
Okay. All right, anybody else?
I'm good.
All set.
Okay. Thank you very much for taking the time and taking the interest to come to the meeting and present us with what could be a very interesting and positive addition to the trail.
Yeah, it sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you and my pleasure. So excited.
Good. Happy holidays.
Oh, happy holidays to you. Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Pat, there's a motion on the floor. Do we want to table it or we want
Oh,
to
Steve,
vote on it?
I think we should table it.
Okay, that's fine.
I thought somebody seconded.
All in favor?
Somebody did second it.
I
Okay.
seconded it for you, Karen.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
There you go.
I'm usually ignored.
Oh, I seconded it.
I couldn't hear you.
Okay. We ready to move along?
Yep.
Okay. Acceptance of the October 7th meeting, the minutes. Anybody have any problems or questions?
I've read the meetings and I motion to accept.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
I did notice something. I don't know if I'm allowed to discuss.
Bring it
It's
up.
Elizabeth. It said something about Cheshire Junior Football giving up the concession stand. It should be Cheshire Cheshire Youth Baseball, correct?
Correct.
You're right.
CYB, yep.
Right.
Good catch, Elizabeth.
Okay. Art update. Go ahead, John.
Mark, do you want to lead off and then I could fill in or?
Go ahead, John.
Okay.
Good.
So we're actually, Pat, we're having a meeting tomorrow to go over a whole bunch of things and things that Public Works has brewing, some things that I have on a list.
Okay.
To maybe try to prioritize all that stuff and take us into the winter and get ready for the spring.
Okay. So you want to revisit it next month?
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll be good.
I have one question for you, Mark. When we were talking about the crossing on West Main Street and making those barricades permanent, did you not say that's like $20,000 to do that?
It's extremely expensive from what I
Okay.
heard.
So you know what I was wondering? What about the, they're like Jersey barriers, but you see them where they sell propane. So they're little, 2-foot type of Jersey barriers where they could just put them down and we wouldn't be moving them. Are those that expensive too, or?
Those aren't expensive, but I would have to touch base with engineering and the PD that's working on the current concept now of the chicane there and see if that's even doable because it has to be removable so you can get emergency vehicles down there,
Okay,
park vehicles. So
okay. All right. That's all I had to question for. Council liaison? Okay, moving right along. Communications.
The only communication I got or I received this week was from Councilman Jim Jinks, who I put it in my director's report, was looking to do, or he has a group of mountain bike enthusiasts that want to get into the D Dominicus property and create some trails and, start looking for an area where they could park some vehicles and search some grants and start doing improvements. So we can come back to that during my report, because I did send I sent him an email, and we kind of went back and forth with town manager Sean Kimball on what his thoughts were, and probably it would require a meeting or a sit down, at least initially, with Suzanne Simone and Bill Volker.
Parking's always been a problem there for whatever we want to do, I believe.
And then as far as communications, it could be some old business too, and part of new business. We have that that bench request from last meeting. Azoldi Zimmert, the one that's down by the lock. We have that request. We got a new request today from Cheshire Lacrosse for their coaches, the two coaches that passed recently, one recently and one I think Steve packed back in the summer or early fall.
Right, past summer.
Okay. We have a bench for Bartlett, the bench down by the lock, and then we have still outstanding from the October meeting. Mark and I were going back and forth. We just haven't had a chance to connect, which we're going to connect tomorrow. That was that ADA table that originally the person wanted to put a plaque onto the table that was already existing. And I kind of got the feeling from all of us when we were talking about it that maybe they should be buying a table. They really like that area. I don't know, and Mark and I will talk through it. If we could swap that table out and put that table somewhere else and put their table there on that pad, and then pour a pad somewhere else that may be conducive or could use an ADA table. They're kind of fixated on that area of Cornwall by Darter, that area there. So we could talk through those tonight and maybe get some approvals. You want to take one at a time, or?
Sure, go ahead. I mean,
all right. So we'll do the memorial bench for Cheshire Lacrosse coaches. I got an email from Bonnie Jean Kelly. Attached, please find the memorial bench request form for the Cheshire Lacrosse team. The high school boys have been working hard to raise money for this memorial bench. Contact me with any questions. They'd like to put it over at Bartlett at some point or some part. Steve, did they indicate to you, kind of what vicinity, or are they going to just leave it up to us, or?
I think what they would like to do is to locate it on the east side fields, the ones closest to the pool, and that's where the freshman lacrosse team practices and plays, and lacrosse practices there as well. And both coaches, especially Brian Perry, who coached the freshmen, that's where they think they want that bench to be.
and that is
Mark,
so
any issue?
one bench
any
for
issues
two of
or
them,
anything?
not two benches.
One bench,
One.
correct.
Yeah, that's a good spot because I think there's an older bench that's not named for anybody out there that has some years on it. So yeah, that's an excellent area.
Okay, so do you have to make a motion? You want to make one motion for all three or one individually?
Let's do them individually.
Okay,
Anybody want to make a motion for the bench for the lacrosse coaches?
I'll make a motion for that we allow the go-ahead to put the memorial bench for the two lacrosse coaches at Bartlett Park And the location is per our discretion. But we will take their advice to where they would like it.
I'll second it. Discussion. What's that, Paul?
Karen's muted. She tried to do something.
I couldn't hear you.
Karen's muted. She's trying to second it. There you
Okay.
Oh, Karen, oh, there you go.
I thought I was just being ignored like usual. I second
All right.
it.
How about discussion? Okay, all in favor?
I,
Yeah.
Okay, the second one would be the bench down by the lock. It's part of your packet. Soldi Zinner.
Her.
Put a motion to
husband.
accept Zinnert's bench.
Okay, hold on one second though. But she sent an email today last week. No, November 4th, after she submitted the original one. She wanted to change the location. The first location was the half-mile north of Higgins Road. Now she wants to change it to a quarter-mile south of the lock. There's a parking place, and it would be easier to get to the bench. I don't want to be a pain, but thanks for your consideration. So quarter-mile south of the lock.
South.
There's not much down there, is there?
Opens up. Is that where the field opens up?
Yeah. And I think there's
it's a bench. There's a couple
There's a
benches
bench
on that
there.
side.
with a garden too.
Yes.
Right. Unless she wants it, and that's fairly close to that other end of the highway, the road over there. Was it
By South
Brooksville?
Brooksville, South Brooksville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure where she wants it.
Butterfly sanctuary over there or something?
No,
Is there a parking place that's there too?
no. Only at the
Because
lock.
she references there's a parking place. It would be easier to get to the bench. I don't want to be a pain.
I
Quarter
think-
mile
I
south
thought
of the
there is
lock.
parking down there.
Not between South Brooksville and to the next intersection at Mount Sanford. No, there's no parking there.
So do you think it's that small parking lot that's just before the bridge to the caretaker's house?
I think she may, I don't know for sure. She may be mistaken. Maybe she's thinking north. Because that's heading, from Lock 12 heading north. There's parking area there.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
That's up by Cornwall, though. Yeah, that's a.
Wait, oh,
The
no,
other
it's
way.
not the one I'm thinking of. I don't know.
Well, I could reach out to her tomorrow. Do you want to approve it conditionally or you okay with it? Either
Yeah.
location or?
I think we could make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve it, but the exact location would be dependent upon our placement.
Okay.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And then the third one would be the James Broshinsky, that the ADA table. I need to get back to him at some point with an answer if he should purchase a table or allow him to put a plaque on that existing table. And then, Mark, is that something that we can do? Is if he did purchase a table with a plaque, can we swap the table out and maybe move that table somewhere else and pour a pad at our convenience?
Yeah, I think that's doable if it's the same table.
Okay. Yeah, we'll make sure that it follows the same spec.
Just
Yeah,
by
we have
coincidence, what's that table cost?
I did put it in my report. I think it was table, plaque, and delivery. It was like $2,100.
Okay.
So the table is $1,395.
Okay.
Out the door, $2,100.
Okay.
That includes a pad? The new
No,
pad?
it doesn't.
Well, okay, so then Mark, you'd have to let us know what that new pad for the table transfer would cost.
Okay.
Do
So
we
are you
wanna-
okay with that, Pat? Someone want to make a motion to approve the purchase of a table with a plaque and the cost of a pad? And then we'll swap the table out if he still wants to do it.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we look into purchasing a ADA table
And
and pad and plaque.
I'll
I'll
second
second
it.
it.
Oh, Karen, okay, sorry, I don't wanna,
Doesn't matter. Just want to get through.
discussion? All in favor? Okay, we'll move along. Anything
And
else, John?
while we're on memorials, Pat, I think I forwarded to you the that email from Helen Burke
Yes,
about her.
so I think that sort of keys into what I was gonna begin to talk about. And that is, and we've talked about, I mean, I've been on Park and Rec for a while, but there's a lot of previous past history that I don't know about, that I think Jim Nankin knows about. And I brought up an idea with John, if we could if it would
What?
be reasonable to make him our unofficial official historian. John ran that by Sean, and he thought it would be appropriate. And so I would bring that in front of you to hear what everybody's thoughts are. So I guess I'll start and make a motion to approach Mr. Nankin and ask him if he would consider being our unofficial official historian. It would not require him to come to meetings, but when we have questions about things like this, we'd sort of have his many years on the commission to ask about.
Second it.
So go ahead, let's discuss it.
So what would that mean entail exactly? Just him giving us information?
Right, we could ask him, we could query him about things, about what he remembers that is way before our time. You know, and he might come to a meeting if we have some issues, or we could just, you know, give him a call and talk to him, depending upon what his activity level is.
Well, I don't care if he comes to a meeting, but I just was curious. He won't be involved in making decisions.
No,
No,
he'll be a non-voting member.
No.
He's not a part of the commission.
Informational.
Right.
It's fine with me.
I think it's a good idea. Because like when somebody comes along and wants to rename a trail, Jim can probably remember if it was originally named for somebody,
Right.
which would be helpful to us so we didn't overstep our bounds. I think it's a good idea.
You don't want to lose history.
Right.
Right.
Right. The history might be a little long-winded, but that's okay.
Yeah. Hopefully
so-
accurate.
Hopefully
Hopefully
accurate. I lost you. Anyway, okay.
It's okay.
So any more discussion? So we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And I will reach out to him and see what he, if he wants to accept.
Pat, do you think he will?
Pardon me?
Do you think he will accept?
You know,
Please.
I hope he does. I'm sure there'll be a fashion.
I hope he does too.
Yeah,
Just to
Yeah.
get a perspective of what was going on and what he dealt with and all the information.
yeah. So a couple other things. We know that Robert Parr is no longer part of the commission. He's resigned. And Dan Nowak had to resign because Hearst Publications went and reviewed, I guess, all of their employees and their positions in town. And after, I think it was probably what, 4 months, John, where he kept going to meetings and
It was a period,
Meeting
yeah,
after
it was a
meeting.
period of a couple months, and then like for like 3 weeks, they kept kind of carrying it out, and he couldn't get an
Right.
answer, and finally he did press enough, and he got the answer
right.
that he was not
Was it-
looking for.
A conflict of interest or something? What was that?
Well, I guess, I mean, I could see that in his position at the town, head of the town Democratic Party, but I didn't know how it really affected him on Parks and Rec, but that's what everybody's paying the high-priced corporate lawyers to make these big earth-shattering decisions for. So at least when you buy a Hearst publication, you know what your money's going for. I mean, to listen to Dan and the meetings he had to go through and the people he had to talk to, it's unbelievable.
Just to make
You
some
wonder how many-
decisions on some benches, you know?
Yeah. So anyway,
That's too bad.
and when you see Dan, it was not Dan's wish. But it was either, you resign or you resign from your job. So like.
So whose job
obviously-
is it to look for replacements? The appointing committee, or is it ours, or who does this?
No, it's not our, it's the nominating committees and the two different parties.
Yeah, all right.
So
Now, I
they've
Dan
already
was
been
obviously-
informed, and they're working on it, but they're working on it.
Yeah.
They're aware.
We
of
could
it.
help push somebody
They're
forward.
you-
corporate lawyers.
If you know somebody that's interested, get
Exactly.
their names to one of us or to either one of the parties. and let
What
them
works
know.
great is you just put it out there on Facebook that, do your civil duty type thing, and you'd be surprised that's how I got stuck here
Well,
18
Oh,
years ago.
I hope you don't think you got stuck here.
I'm teased.
You
I'm
might
18.
have got referred here and then you're stuck here, but
I will be getting something on my 20th year, right?
Pat's
Yeah.
working on it.
yeah,
Hey, come on, Pat.
To the bench.
Make it a good one.
okay.
Pat, you just want to hold on for a minute? That Helen Burke, do you want to discuss it or save it for another meeting? It's
No,
not
go ahead.
pressing.
Go ahead. We can discuss it.
Yeah, so Helen Burke, if you remember, back in the summer, the council, there was the motion that they wanted to name the trail at Cheshire Park after Mark Jardam.
Mhm.
And we went through all the investigation and found out that the trail was already named for Dr. Burke. What's her first name? Oh, Dr. Ruth Burke.
Oh, you said Helen.
So so anyway, long story short, last month her daughter, who lives in California, relocated, called, and apparently she had done the same thing back in 2017 and has like this memory of her mom and wants to make sure that the trail is still, named after her mom, and that she was now looking for something a little bit more permanent and something of a sign that's not nailed to a tree. So, I don't know if we wanted to kick it around or table it and bring it back next meeting and think about, is there any way that we want to better memorialize Dr. Ruth Burke and her memory?
I have a question.
Um,
So what part of the trail?
It's
The
that
whole trail?
trail system that's behind Cheshire Park there. That's within Cheshire Park.
Oh, through the
Okay.
goat pasture and up through there and by the pond.
Okay. And how
Yeah.
did it get named to begin with?
Oh, years ago with
She requested it, or we did it?
That's where our
No, I
historian will
think
come in.
Right.
Bob Ciccolini did at some point.
Bob did it on his
Yeah.
own?
Probably with the family and so forth.
Well, because, I mean,
I don't have the
just
total history.
with the bench,
Unless
and-
Elizabeth,
wouldn't it be kind of on the same lines, like if a memorial bench, that they would provide the sign or the bench or whatever? Unless it was
could.
our idea to name it.
I mean, we don't have to do anything. I mean, the sign, everything's there. She was just calling from afar and had a thought and just was making a simple request that, is there maybe, can we look to maybe do something a little bit more permanent other than just a sign on a tree? I happen
Well-
to agree with it a little bit, but
You know
You
what
don't
I would
have to-
suggest? I would suggest that, because what'll happen is everybody's gonna love whatever you decide to do. And it'll go from benches to those, which is what might be good, but I think we should charge for them. Like, that could be a way for revenue, right? Name
Or could-
a part of the linear trail and contribute the money to the
Possibly.
Park and Rec.
This is not the linear trail, though.
Oh, I'm sorry,
No, this is the
Right,
trail
right,
by
right.
Cheshire Park.
Right, just
any,
on-
any trail.
Yeah,
Any trail.
cross country.
I think we're
trail.
doing too many signs on the trails.
Oh, don't worry about it, Pat.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
Trails, huge.
if we want to do a new sign, it could be a nice Eagle project for some kid in town too, to put a nice new sign up there, which wouldn't cost us any money. And we could put it back up there.
And you've got the community hours that high school kids need to do too. There's lots
Yeah.
of availability.
I mean, it could be a good
But-
project for somebody. I
Yeah.
think we should look into the history and find out why it was named for or whatever. You know what I mean? See if we want to
Yeah.
do something
Yeah.
elaborate or not.
John, do you know what the sign says exactly?
I'm sorry?
Mark? What's the sign say exactly? Does it just have her name on it and that's it?
Yeah, it just says the Dr. Ruth Burke Trail. I think
That's it.
Elizabeth. are you
Nailed
still
on a
looking?
tree.
I think that there are 3 signs out there, and I believe it says the Dr. Ruth C. Burke Trail. And I think that she was very instrumental in getting Cheshire Park to be town property, from what I have read. And I think it was the commission that chose to name the trail after
Jeez, I
her,
don't remember that
from
at
the
all.
history that I know. And I
Do you know
think
what
she
year?
died fairly young. I did have the history, but I don't remember the year right now. I could look it up
That's
and
not on the
email it out
sign?
to you. I
Well, no, I'm
don't
just
think
thinking it
is.
would be a way for us to be able to maybe find the notes.
I
from
think
the
we have
the
located,
minutes.
I think we have located the notes, and I think it's possible that it may even predate Bob Ciccolini.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but I think that the naming may predate Bob Ciccolini.
Also,
Oh,
it was Dick Bartlam that did it.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
possible. I could reach out,
Yeah.
I could look for the date again. I don't remember
Wow.
specifically, but I
And
could look
where
that
would
up.
I'll ask Jim Nankin because he was here before Bob Ciccolini.
Where would those
Right.
minutes be? Are they like in a box? Because that was before computers or what? Where would you find the minutes for that?
There must be records in the town clerk's office, I would think.
Alright. Just curious.
All right. So
We could start with Jim.
Yeah, I think we should check our historian, get the background on it, and see if we want
There you
to.
go. His first
Yeah.
task, Pat.
You know what are nice? Those concrete like pillars that are like probably waist high that are outdoors and you could put a plaque on that are simple, kind of out of the way. They're not huge signage. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like a granite post or something.
Yeah,
or
like a
something on it.
granite post. Yeah.
Go, Mark.
That might be a better idea. I'm just thinking that we would probably have to come up with an idea that we're gonna like because people will start seeing them and want, start asking if their beloved father's name could be on one. So,
I would tell you, I think if it's on a tree, we keep it on a tree. Stop putting stuff on the ground because that stuff's got to be maintained.
yeah,
Right,
but
Mark?
I mean, people are named on the highway for cleaning a highway. There's a state sign right on the road.
Yeah, but that's the highway. That's not our park.
Trees fall down, get cut down. I don't know. I don't think it's a great place for it, but
You can move it to another tree.
okay, but I was just looking for a moneymaker here.
We don't know if the family donated money for the signs. We don't know
No,
until we read the
It could be
history.
an idea that we could put out there that you could name a quarter of a mile after someone and contribute. I don't know.
I would hope you'd name a mile after me.
Well, not anymore.
Or a quarter.
You want it on a tree.
Got a job.
Well, I'll tell you what.
You're gonna just nail a sign on the
We
tree.
have another month think about it.
Pat's tree.
I'll approach Mr. Nankin about
Realize Pat Duffy.
becoming our unofficial historian, and we'll see if he has anything.
Oh,
And
Christ.
if you have the time and want to do some
we
research,
shouldn't
that's
have-
fine too.
I should have never voted on that.
Okay.
Yeah, well, let's get a little more research on it and find out. And I mean, maybe we could spruce up the concept of it. I've never seen the sign. It must be up in that trail.
Let me mute.
It's camouflage with all the trees.
High
Yeah.
up, it's pretty high up in the tree. Tree grew and
Okay.
then.
How about if we move it along? John, you want to get into the old business?
Yeah.
My
Pat,
daughter,
do we
by the
wanna,
way-
what's that?
My daughter, sorry, excuse me, my daughter walks at the Cheshire Park every day with my dog, so she's never seen it.
Yeah, they're up there. There's. You
It
have to
must be
look.
way up high on a tree.
And that's why the daughter was saying, it's kind of a little impersonable for what she meant to the park, or what Elizabeth was alluding to about her importance to Cheshire Park being acquired. Perhaps maybe there should be a nicer memorial of some sort.
Okay.
Okay.
Pat, do we want to talk about the ordinances? Did everyone get a chance to take a look? Does
Sure.
anybody have any concerns or comments or edits so that we could kick it off to the town council ordinance committee and get that going?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I didn't know where we were going to put it here. I didn't see it, but let's, has everybody looked at it?
No,
Yes.
Okay. That's
was it
50
in a separate email?
Yeah, in
Yeah, I
October.
sent it out probably, I don't know, a month and a half ago or something. I had sent it out with new copy comments that Pat and I had come up with in red, so that you could see what the original ordinance was and then what the recommendation would be in red.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
I returned information to you, John. That was something else though, right? Did you see those comments I sent back to you?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't read it, so continue. I'll listen.
Okay.
Anybody have any comments or anything they want to add, or is it good as is? And do we want to just send it out to the council ordinance committee?
Yeah, there were some important changes that were made in that, and I think both of you guys did a nice job with that. So I think we could probably move it forward.
I agree.
Mike, do you
Yeah,
have anything?
I had one in the beginning. I gotta
Trust
try and
Steve.
find it where it was. Where you said like the grounds, which were the pool, the linear path. You forgot open space, which actually technically we're in charge of.
Yeah, Mike, and that's a good point, because there's a whole open space section right after Park and Rec. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to touch it. I did, hopefully they'll bring us to a meeting, or Pat and I can go to a meeting, or you as the vice chair, and then we can kind of talk about that, because there was just so much in there that, I don't know, like
Actually,
currently right now,
Loud.
the town looks at that as,
I gotta
I mean, I know
unmute
that
it.
we're in charge, but there's
Yeah.
a steward in there, there's other things, there's rules. I didn't want to go ripping through something that I maybe shouldn't be going through.
Yeah, I
So
understand.
maybe
They've come to us before and showed us some of the properties they bought, and we had to come up with like a land management use for it. So, I mean, it's technically under our realm a little bit. So I wasn't sure if you wanted to add that as part of the properties that you have to be off the lot, off at dark and stuff like that.
You just want a general
Well,
statement.
that's one of the other things too, like with this mountain bike thing, anything that we want to modify or that needs to occur in open space. From what I understand, Suzanne needs, like a project plan, it kind of goes that way, then her commission, and then it comes back to the Park and Rec Commission, then it goes to the town attorney. I was reading up on it because of this mountain bike thing with Jim Jinks was bringing to the table. So it just seemed like there was a lot of information. I just didn't want to just go in blind. If someone wants to, once we, go to a council ordinance meeting, go through our stuff, that maybe this could be a phase 2 of the open space and we could bring it back and go through it, or we could do it together in a workshop with them. I don't know how they want to go about doing it, but it's a good point.
Yeah, I just wonder if we're going to do it and change it, it's in the beginning, it says parks are areas designated by the town to be, buildings, this and that, the linear path, the Farmington Canal, include dog park and the skate park, and maybe just put all open space.
Okay.
That's all. That's the only one I saw.
Mike, I thought you also wanted to say something about vaping.
Vaping in the tobacco section should also be added. Because then the kids from the high school just walk over there and do it in the park because they can't do it on school grounds.
Right.
Okay, duly noted.
Thank you, Steve.
Want to take a motion, Pat, or put one out, to approve these modifications and then forward them to the council?
Okay. I'll take a motion to vote on the ordinance review that was done with the new suggestions and bring it to the, ordinance review committee.
I'll second it.
Are you on mute?
Any more discussion?
Good job.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, John, you're up.
All right, so
Again.
I sent you the director's report. Is there anything that you want me to go through it line by line, or does anybody have anything they want to discuss in particular, or would you like me to go through it?
I don't need to have you go through it. I don't know, but anybody else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How's it going at the pool? I know last month you talked about it was struggling over there. Has there been any improvement?
So, well, I mean,
I saw you getting the
now
new
you have
things.
you have the latest where now the swim teams can't be in there, because the governor put a pause on all the team athletics. Know that there was a scramble of YMCA Sea Dog parents and swimmers who were trying to inundate and secure lap lanes for swimming. So Sheila came up with a good plan. She's organizing it. It seems to be going okay. We're still not at a great capacity, but just still making it available so that people, from a health standpoint, can get in there and do their laps. I think it's going to be like 15 swimmers an hour that she has right now.
Mhm.
The UV system was going to be installed this week, but her facility technician came in contact with somebody that had COVID. So his return to work is not until December 8th. So I think it's going to occur next week, the UV system. Other than that,
Is there any thought of closing the pool?
I think we should.
I think there's some concern monetarily.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, I
The
think it would be
town manager
safer.
I'm sorry?
I think it would just be safer for all the workers to not work anymore, to be laid off. I mean, people that swim in the pool and do laps spit in the pool, right? They have to breathe through the water. I mean, I just think this sounds really
Chlorine kills it.
Yeah,
absolutely kills it.
yeah.
I wouldn't even believe that. But
We had no issue in the fall with it, and we had some people do some research for the high school teams on the same concept.
yeah,
As Doc Duffy said, with the chlorine in the pool, filtration system, it really wasn't a problem with transmission.
so what about just being close to each other, standing there and talking in the water?
Well, that's with any
Stuff like
situation,
that.
and what we have to do, I think what John was saying is you have one person per lane. you have 15 people at the pool. I think Sheila's doing a pretty good job of organizing that. People actually rent the lane. You're in your own lane.
Yeah.
By yourself, surrounded by water. It's probably safer than breathing the air. It's running.
Sheila feels comfortable with this and
Oh,
the
yeah.
people that work there?
Oh, yeah, she wants to stay open. She'd
Okay.
stay open. She'd like to entertain more people if she could. You know, there's no
I'm
one on
not
the
sure
deck.
if
so-
people know that they can go even. She
Oh,
can
no, they
promote
do.
it.
My understanding is
Oh,
there's a
they
waiting.
do.
Yeah, there's a wait list for a lane.
For the laps, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the only thing they're doing is laps?
Correct. No. Well, so with this pause with the athletic part, she just eliminated the rec swimming because you can't rec swim and free swim. You know, it's right now the governor's guidelines is just, you know, one person per lane. That's it. And so she
What
got
about-
it broken down so that people could still go and get a decent workout for an hour. Some towns are going to a half hour, which is, you know, it's a pain.
What about swim lessons? Can they stay in their own lane and still do swim lessons then?
I believe she discontinued lessons right now with this latest pause.
You can't maintain 6 feet if you're giving lessons.
Right.
They can, yes.
Certain groups you could.
Okay, so you're planning on keeping it open for the future then, right now?
For right now, yes.
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
Well,
Thank you.
you know, the town manager has me looking at some numbers.
Right.
You know, he's concerned about the subsidy and, you know, the capacity issues.
What it
where
costs to
you
keep
don't
it
have the
open.
revenue coming in.
Yeah.
What was that, Karen?
Yeah, the revenue, I mean, nothing's coming in and what the cost to keep it open.
Well,
Yeah.
money is coming in to rent the lanes. And if we close the pool, we still have all the expenses of maintaining it. You can't just close the door.
Yeah, it's not a simple fix close,
No.
talking to the Weston and Sampson engineers because
But you don't
have
pay
to-
payroll.
You have to keep the environment to a certain degree and that, you know, you need to, you know, run the heat, run the electricity, all that stuff. So you have expensive components and things in there that, you know, you just can't shutter the pool at 55 degrees and walk away from it.
Especially with the winter coming, it's just not
Right.
gonna work. Yeah, I understand. Okay. So last month you talked about that Sean was getting nervous and he was considering closing it. And we've gotten tighter regulations since then.
Yeah, it's on his list,
Okay,
a watch list.
okay, thank you.
Anything else? We had a really good, successful Tim Turkey scavenger hunt. We had close to 50 families participate. Chick-fil-A sponsored it. They provided 6 prize bags for the families. I think it had up to about $40 worth of coupons and discounts and things, and some other goodies from Chick-fil-A. It was a good event. Easy, it's quick. People had fun.
Always amazes me the lines to get to Chick-fil-A.
Oh, but yeah,
Well,
don't
love
let it
those
scare you
coupons.
because you can get through that in about 8 minutes.
Never tried.
For Christmas, you know, we're going to be doing, and I could have let, maybe if Elizabeth's here, she wants to talk about the tree lighting. Public Works came through big. I don't know if you've seen, this is the tree that's over at Bartlum, what it looked like the other morning.
Oh, nice.
So we're gonna have 2 trees lit, the one on the green and one at Bartlum. In a normal year, we were gonna move it to Bartlum and do the tree lighting there with all the fanfare. But because of what's going on with COVID, it's gonna be a virtual event.
Mhm.
And if Elizabeth wants to talk a little bit more about what it's gonna be, she can come on. And
Sure.
then also, our Santa hotline calls went from 9 to about 40.
Wow.
9 last year to 40 this year. We'll be doing that in a week or so. And then we came up with another program called Nights, Lights, and Sights of Cheshire. And it's a house decorating contest. We closed it off at 45 houses.
Wow.
And then Tim Tim, we got Sign Pro to donate winter yard signs. So the house that has the whatever category they win, they're going to get a yard sign, and then we're going to go with a fire truck as a prize patrol and go deliver it after we do judging next week.
Great idea.
Cool.
So good stuff. All right, Elizabeth, you want to talk about the tree lighting?
Yeah, so we did have to move the tree lighting from Sunday because we can't have any sort of gathering at all, and we didn't want to have people show up and have to turn them away, because that seems like a pretty un-Christmassy thing to do. So we will be posting live on YouTube and Facebook one evening next week. So we're going to encourage everybody to stay tuned to the YouTube channel and Facebook, and we're going to send out an announcement this Friday telling people that that's how they're going to find it, either on their computer or on their TV. And I've still been able to coordinate with Santa from the North Pole. He's gonna take a reindeer over to the fire department, and then he will come down Route 10 to Bartlam Park. And the Junior Women's Club did their annual essay contest, and they have selected a winner, and that child will meet Santa. And after Santa does a countdown, that child, it's a girl, Eliana Orlinsky, if I'm saying her name right, she will flip the switch, and we will have the tree officially lit. Another really cool thing that we have this year that we were hoping to have a much bigger gathering for, but obviously we can't, is the Lions Club got involved this year, and we found a throne from back when the Cheshire Youth Theater did Once Upon a Mattress. They had a throne, and the Lions Club picked it up and refurbished it entirely. They repainted it, they reupholstered it with some sort of naugahyde or vinyl. So they're nice bright red cushions for the chair. So we're going to leave that on display for the month of December. So anybody who wants a photo op under this new tree can be in Santa's chair. If they can't be with Santa, at least they'll be in Santa's big fancy chair. So that's kind of how we're trying to make things still be festive, but keep everybody safe.
And will we be spraying the chair down after each use? Will be Lysol there, or how are you going to look at it?
I think I'm hoping that it's just like the playgrounds, where it's an outside thing and there's enough time between people. We won't be staffing it just like we didn't staff the playgrounds. So we can put up a sign warning people of that if we think that's a good idea, which it may be. And I don't know how popular it's going to be. People may not take advantage of that. But again, just like the playgrounds,
Great
it's an
idea.
outside thing that people are kind of taking a risk at. But as long as it's been out long enough, hopefully it's the disease is not still living on the surfaces.
Very nice. Put the word out.
Yeah, Pat.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're welcome.
John?
Can't hear you.
That's it. I'm good.
It's
Okay.
up. It's you now.
Does anybody else have anything to bring up before we close our meeting?
One,
Hey, Joel,
John,
tomorrow we have the Bartlam South
Right.
Meeting.
the meeting
Yeah.
webinar, the Zoom webinar tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
for Chapman
Six.
Field, right, Chapman property.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
So what happens with that?
So tomorrow the consultants will go over, this was supposed to be the public meeting that was going to occur back in March to unveil the 3 concepts that have been cultivated from all the public engagement meetings last fall. Get people's comments, ideas, criticisms, if there are any, and take all that, then formulate it, take a look at what direction do we really want to go. Probably bring it back to the review team of the few council people, the few commission people, our town staff, and the consultants from Weston Sampson. Put together a final master plan. Hopefully bring it to the council in January, February of the next couple months. Have them discuss it openly. Hopefully get some sort of approval on one of the concepts or whatever it is, and maybe phased in, get an idea, or accept the whole proposal and then at budget time phase in, whatever the council feels comfortable. And then obviously that number is going to be more than 500,000, so that it'd have to go to referendum in November. And then if it passed November, then, it's going to be probably 3 to 6 months to do bid documents and bid solicitations, and 6 months might be really quick to get a bid award. You're talking already, you're into 2022, maybe the fall, you could put a shovel to the ground. If all of that works, I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic, but
I saw like 9 were attending, I think, and a lot of interest. I guess it was an email that somebody sent me about that meeting tomorrow.
yeah, it's on the webpage for the town. It's been in the newspaper. The Herald is probably
was
going
just
to have
saying.
something in the paper tomorrow. They did, Record Journal put a story in it last week. It was in the Herald last week.
Yeah. They're gonna crawl out of the woodwork.
I've emailed all the sport groups and sport organizations. Well, we want to. I mean, you want people to engage and give their feedback.
Yeah.
Want to make sure that we're covering all the bases.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we'll get feedback.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure.
Hope it's positive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
All right,
Awesome.
a motion to adjourn?
Aaron, you want to second it?
I'll second. Sure.
Okay. All in discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Have a great holiday.
Everybody have a
Yes.
Merry Christmas
Christmas.
and Happy
You
New
too.
Year, and stay